Brazil, a nation defined by football, a nation that defines football. Jogo bonito, the beautiful game. A nation devoted to producing footballing icons, world superstars. But superstars never seen in England. Until now.
Gabriel's gigantic moment!
I never imagined I can be on this place. I feel so proud of myself.
Graças a Deus tá dando tudo certo aqui, muito feliz por tudo que eu tô vivendo e tá sendo incrível.
Provar a Premier League sempre foi sonho de jogar na Premier League.
It's a brilliant save for Alisson.
For a Brazilian player, it's not easy to play in the Premier League.
So what's changed?
I believe maybe the English leagues haven't discovered proper Brazil before them.
Brilliant skill by Juninho.
Eu fui acompanhando toda essa evolução.
The best league in the world is a special place for us.
When you got there, you just forgot about the other leagues.
João, thank you very much for your time. How Liverpool came into your life. Estevão, obrigada, Richarlison.
Oi.
The Premier League is a global product, and Brazil is at the core of that. This season, 35 players have made a league appearance, second only to the Netherlands in terms of non-English representation. So what attracts Brazilian players to this country?
Premier League, the last 20 years, has been one of the most important competitions in the world. I saw that as a privilege to have the opportunity to come here and represent Brazil and to make part of this big club.
O que foi decisivo para você mudar de mercado de Espanha para Inglaterra?
Existem muitas coisas, né? Existe muito, você abre um leque de várias opções, né? Provar outra liga, jogar no maior da Inglaterra, jogar num dos clubes que, em termos de grandeza, é um dos poucos que chega ao lado do Real Madrid.
When I was in France, I watched a lot of Premier League games. I know that the Premier League is the best competition. When he called me, I just say yes, I want to be there straight away. It's a dream for me to play as a Premier League, to play for Arsenal.
Richarlison has gone for goal and scored! Extraordinary!
É, porque aqui tá os grandes jogos, né? Muitos jogos e todos os jogos são difíceis aqui. Então acho que o torcedor, em geral, gosta de ver isso, né? Gosta de ver bons jogos.
Estevão finishes!
Não tem como, né? O primeiro jogo na Premier League é uma coisa incrível, né? De quando você tá ali, tipo, cai a ficha, tipo, isso é Premier League, né?
I think the Premier League is one of the difficult league in the world, and I want to try to challenge myself. I always want to be the best Bruno ever.
Here he goes round the goalkeeper and in! There's no stopping this man at the moment.
E você foi o primeiro brasileiro a jogar no Brentford, é o primeiro brasileiro a jogar no Brentford, né? Quando você chegou, você falou que você queria trazer um pouco do futebol brasileiro, da cultura brasileira. Você acha que você está conseguindo fazer isso?
Eu acho que sim, acho que sim, aos poucos, assim, de poder fazer com que as pessoas conheçam um pouco do Thiago, do brasileiro, da alegria, do sorriso no rosto.
It hasn't always been that way. Just look how the number of Brazilian players in the Premier League has climbed over the years. A massive increase since its inception in 1992. But the first Brazilian to play on these shores came before the Premier League even started, Mirandinha at Newcastle.
1987, Mirandinha was kept for the Brazilian national team for the first time. His first match was against England, and he scored. So then Newcastle board, Newcastle manager, were convinced that he was the right guy for Newcastle.
It took 4 seasons before a Brazilian even stepped foot in the Premier League. Players from Montserrat, Malta, and Zimbabwe featured before anyone from football's most famous country. But that all changed in 1995.
I thought that he'd found the wrong club because Brazilian and Coventry didn't go together at the time, and I was thinking, what we got here, obviously he's probably on the beach somewhere thinking like, oh, he's near the coast and he can get close to London, but he was stuck in the middle of Coventry. He adapted and fitted in really well in the dressing room.
Isaias left Brazil so early. Like he made his career in Portugal. He was a really good player for Benfica. So in Brazil, people didn't know about him.
He taught us a lot of how technical he was, the levels that you need to be to play, teaching us on and off the pitch, really.
Meanwhile, a town in the northeast of England became an unlikely hub for Brazilian footballers.
It bore all the hallmarks of a presidential visit. Cameras, press, public waiting anxiously. Juninho finally touched down at Teesside Airport, and suddenly we all realized the dream had come true.
Lembro, assim, desde quando eu pisei em Teesside, tinha bandeiras do Brasil ali no aeroporto, tinha uma família de brasileiros, e que depois eu vim a ficar amigo deles. Eu tinha feito o torneio da Umbro Cup na Inglaterra. Foi aí que despertou o interesse do Brian.
Juninho had heard about the interest when I sort of went under Terry Venables and was assistant manager with England. We had the Umbro Cup, and I just saw these two Brazilians who I thought, wow. And it was Juninho and Roberto Carlos. When we'd actually done the deal with Juninho, I said, what about Roberto Carlos? Any chance of you selling him? And they said, look, 1 week ago, Brian, we've sold him to Inter Milan. If I'd been a week earlier, I might have been able to sign Roberto Carlos with Juninho.
Eu tinha apenas 2 anos de São Paulo, jogando com jogadores todos servindo a seleção brasileira, então eu estava vivendo um sonho aqui no Brasil. Mas eu acreditei no projeto do Brian, eu acho que foi ele que realmente me convenceu. E tudo que ele me prometeu aconteceu.
A wonderful atmosphere, a samba beat. Brazil had come to Middlesbrough, and we were going to celebrate come what may.
When Juninho came in, and then you seen all the Brazilian flags, it made a bit like a carnival atmosphere because the fans had took to him straight away.
Ali na chegada, aí quando eu cheguei no estádio, eles colocaram aqueles batuque, né? Então, se eu não me engano, acho que era 5.000 pessoas para me recepcionar. Assim, eu tive muito carinho, né? Eles me fizeram sentir realmente muito importante.
The idea of Brazilians, of international players coming over with real excitement and skill, different levels than basically maybe players that had sort of graced the league before. And I think it was that transformation of a very solid, rigid 4-4-2, very physical type of football into number 10s. Juninho was one of the first. And you thought, how can he play in the Premier League? He's too small.
He dealt with the challenges that came from the conditions and the pitches, and obviously the challenges we were putting in against him, or that we were trying to put in against him. And when these guys were at their best, Juninho, he was a top player. I think when you bring quality players into the league and the clubs they were going to, it certainly no doubt help their teammates around them, and they would help the players up against him, because you're learning from players all the time. And when I came up against players like that, technically very, very good, you could only learn from them.
I think Juninho just wanted to be part of the Premiership and a new challenge, because the Brazilian mentality from that time was, if you're Brazilian, unless you make it in Europe and you prove yourself in Europe, then you're a top player.
It's now the boys from Brazil on Teesside with Branco. Juninho, for one, is clearly delighted. You're happy he's here?
Yeah, and he too.
Juninho's delighted in the sense that there's another Brazilian into the camp. That'll help him.
The red carpet was out as Teesside's latest boy from Brazil took the road to the Riverside in a bid to further his international career.
I've been monitoring him for quite a length of time. I spoke to Bobby Robson and he thinks he's an outstanding player. He's just annoyed with me because he didn't want to let him leave his club.
Good luck.
Oh, obrigado, thank you. I went across to Porto to watch him in a couple of Champions League games, and yeah, I was impressed as soon as I saw him. Emerson was sort of like a natural for me as well to come in and suit Juninho.
Samba boys, we used to call them, didn't we? The swagger, the dance and everything else. And all different characters. You've got Branco, who's already won the World Cup.
And this time it's Branco!
a wand of a left foot. Then we've got the marvellous Emerson. Good in the dressing room. The little fella, as he was fondly known, Juninho. Everyone just adored him.
Agora a gente tem jogadores vindo para a Inglaterra. E você tinha outros jogadores que vinham falar com você sobre isso?
Eles sempre perguntavam, né? Porque assim, as duas ligas mais populares era a espanhola e a italiana. Mas quando começou... Porque assim, eu vi a Premier League lá desde o começo e a organização já era espetáculo, né? Então... só que como não era muito divulgado para o Brasil, então não tinha muito interesse também dos jogadores, né? Quando essa divulgação começou a vir e os clubes começaram a se fortalecer e abrir esse mercado sul-americano, houveram bastante interesses.
Despite Middlesbrough's success stories, their fellow countrymen stayed away from England. Whilst Ronaldo was lighting up the France '98 World Cup, the Premier League's only Brazilian was an uncapped defender at Sheffield Wednesday, Emerson Tomé.
It's a different world from the Copacabana to Sheffield's gritty industrial heartland, but it's a trip Brazilian Emerson Tomé is glad he's made.
I'm very happy here. I enjoy playing in England. Maybe Brazilian players don't have many choice for coming here. Maybe sometimes it's difficult for the language.
Emerson Tomé, no one knows in Brazil. For a kid in Brazil, the dream was to play for Real Madrid, for Barcelona, for Inter Milan, for Juventus. Not for Chelsea, not for Man United, back in that day.
There was a chance to see Arsenal's new foreign trio, Stefan Maltz, Oleg Luzhny and Silvinho.
Silvinho was the first proper Brazilian Premier League player because he used to play for Corinthians, and playing for Corinthians he was quite attacking, aggressive. But he learned so fast how to be a good defender under Arsene Wenger.
The deal is sealed. Edu's a gunner. But hang on, he's taken Manu Petit's number.
But it's too early to say that he can replace Petit as a potential.
Edu was kind of a complete player as well, because he could defend very well as a holding midfielder. In Brazil, we call him like the 12th player, like not a start 11, but he's always there, in the bad moments, in the good moments.
And a touch of the South American swagger as well. Edu!
In 2002, Brazil won the World Cup, and for the first time, a player based in England was in the squad, Juninho, now into his third spell with Middlesbrough. But Arsenal signed another member of that team straight after the tournament.
Gilberto Silva was one of the stars of the World Cup. Now he could be on his way to the Premiership. Arsenal have agreed a £4.5 million fee with his club Atlético Mineiro.
What were the perceptions, the ideas that you had about playing here, football here?
Not much, to be honest. One interesting thing is that I didn't know much about English football. You hear about Spanish, Italian. I grew up watching Italian football. It was more common for us, Germany. The first one, Mirandinha, a long time ago at Newcastle, I always thank him. But then Silvinho also, Edu. For me, it was great coming to Arsenal and have Edu because he helped me on a day-to-day. It was like the big brother. Despite the fact we were competing by the position, was a big respect from each other. I have a great gratitude for him and his wife, Paula, because they really took care of me.
It's Gilberto! What a start!
Back then, play for Atlético Mineiro, the football we practiced there was totally different. The intensity, Brazil is very hot. You cannot play the same intensity as you play here in England. The style of playing was something that really suits me. The intensity of the tackling, I said, wow. Welcome to England.
A World Cup winner and now a Premiership Champions medal as well. I
believe maybe the English leagues haven't discovered proper Brazil before them. It was funny because I arrived after the World Cup. Many people were expecting me to score a lot of goals, do some tricks like Ronaldinho, for example. And then I understood that they were not familiar with our game in Brazil. I just have to tell them, listen, I'm not Ronaldinho. Don't expect me to do what he does and to do like the free kicks like Roberto Carlos or Ronaldo's. I'm not this player. I'm the guy who will work hard for the others to shine.
Talks with Rivaldo are ongoing as Bolton Wanderers look to secure the services of the former World Player of the Year.
Ronaldinho looks to be one step closer to a move to Manchester United. Last season's Premiership champions are believed to have made an official bid worth up to £18.5 million.
After the World Cup, Premier League clubs were in for Brazil's biggest names. But the three superstars from that winning side chose Spain or Italy instead.
England was not a thing for Brazilian players, and Brazilian players were not a thing for English football as well. It was normal at that time.
A evolução do futebol, hoje os grandes jogadores estão no futebol inglês. E de acordo com os grandes campeonatos, os grandes jogadores vão se posicionando para esses grandes centros, essas grandes cidades. Hoje o futebol inglês é um dos melhores futebols mundial que existe jogando no mundo. Por isso, a maioria da concentração dos jogadores do futebol brasileiro está na Inglaterra.
Some World Cup winners did arrive in England. Kleberson ended up at Manchester United.
£18 million worth of some of the world's most exciting football talent get their first taste of life as Manchester United players.
There's a big issue about European football. I want to win them. That's why that signs like this do encourage me.
Defender Roque Júnior signed for Leeds. And Ricardinho became another Brazilian to rock up at the Riverside, although he never played.
I've seen him, was well recommended by Juninho and Deriva.
Slowly but surely, Brazilians were starting to appear across the league. So how did they cope with adapting to English football?
Settling in a foreign land is the biggest challenge facing any player moving to a new country. Juninho tackled that one by attempting to make a home from home. He's surrounded by his family on Teesside.
Então, a minha primeira passagem, né, foi minha mãe, meu pai e a minha irmã.
If the publicity ever goes to Juninho's head, there's always his mother to bring him back down to earth. Her favourite player of all time is Zico.
Is Juninho better than Zico?
Juninho é melhor que Zico?
Não. Assim, era tudo novidade. Mas eu cheguei num dos piores invernos da Inglaterra, né? Então eu treinava com aquela touca de ninja. Então assim, só ficava o olho para fora, porque os lábios todos cortados. Enfim, então assim, eu sofri um pouco com o frio. Tinha que pôr jornal na minha chuteira para o pé não congelar.
For me, it was crucial to learn English, not only for football, but for me personally. It's the best way for me to adapt fast to the country, which is cold, rains a lot. You know, this was never an excuse for me. Before I moved, I listened so many Brazilian colleagues who played in Europe or other parts of the world, you know, finding difficulties with the food, for example. I never thought this was a problem for me.
Gilberto in stoppage time.
So, over 20 years on, do Brazilian players still face the same challenges adapting to life in England?
The weather is not the best, but at the same time, we Brazilians, we are really easy to adapt to different environments. Luckily, I am from south of Brazil. There, it rains a lot in the winter, so for me, the weather wasn't a problem.
Foi importante para mim para poder desenvolver também o meu inglês, que era uma das partes mais difíceis que eu tinha na questão da comunicação. De conversar até mesmo com algumas pessoas da forma que eu queria, que eu gostava de receber, da forma que eu gostava de jogar.
The beginning was a bit difficult for the language, everything like that. To understand the football was like different, more quickly. It was a good moment for me to improve every day.
O que a Premier League te trouxe como jogador?
Todos os jogos são difíceis. Você valoriza cada vitória.
The beginning was difficult because different country, different language, food, everything. I think my first 6 months I was a little bit struggle. I had 2 friends, Domingos Quina and Aurelio Gomes, helped me a lot. And then after that I was fine. Now when I go to Brazil in the summer I want to come back because here is, I think now is my new home.
Take the camera. 1, 2, 3.
Casemiro.
Alisson Becker.
One more, please. Estevão. And one more time, just a little bit slower.
Gabriel dos Santos Magalhães.
Bruno Guimarães.
Igor Thiago.
For any Brazilian player, pulling on that yellow jersey is the greatest honor. And Brazil's recent squads for the World Cup are dominated by Premier League stars. But look how much has changed. Just one player in the 2002, 2006 and 2010 squads, up to 12 for the last tournament in Qatar.
The Premier League is a fantastic league. What they bring, the player experience. We have more than 10 players that are playing here. Of course, it's a league really excited.
Carlo Ancelotti is certainly keeping an eye on England. In the last calendar year, Premier League players have dominated his squad selections, more than any other division in the world. And this year's World Cup squad is no different, with 8 players from the Premier League. So why does playing over here help Brazilians earn national call-ups?
Massive. That was one of the reasons I want to move to England as well. The time as a striker, because I thought if I do well here, I have a big chance to be called up. It did work as a striker, but work as a midfield.
Jogar na seleção brasileira é muito difícil. Tem muitos jogadores com muita qualidade. Eu acho que estar aqui na Premier League facilita.
Existem jogadores de seleções, existem jogadores de alto nível. Se você vê o Wolves que briga para não, que hoje é o último colocado, existe jogadores de seleções brasileiras, André, João, e o nível de competitividade dessa competição acho que foi assim o mais surpreendido dessa liga.
Some breaking news to bring you in Brentford. Igor Thiago has earned his first call-up to the Brazil squad. They play France and Croatia later this month.
And on the day he was called up by Brazil for the first time, he can celebrate it with yet another goal.
É curioso, né, ver tantos 9 brasileiros jogando na Premier League. Você acha que isso é bom, que é positivo?
Assim, o nível de competitividade, da onde você tem que chegar, da onde você tem que estar, o que você tem que fazer para poder estar lá na seleção. Se um atleta consegue ter um bom desempenho numa liga como a Premier League, ele consegue ter um desempenho bom na seleção, me entende? Eu estava tendo um bom desempenho na Bélgica também, mas o balanço é diferente. A Bélgica para a Premier League é algo diferente, entende? Então,
when we speak about Brazil, team is tough in every position. If I do my job here, I think hopefully I can be in the World Cup. I want to do my history. Of course, I have inspiration like R9, Adriano, Romário, Neymar. I want to people think I'm João Pedro.
Estamos na luta, né? Sabemos da dificuldade, porque são muitos atacantes, né? E as vagas tá funilando aí, né? Vamos esperar aí para ver.
Competição muito grande, são grandes jogadores, mas eu tento fazer meu máximo para que possa aparecer oportunidade.
Cara, o Ancelotti, ele sabe o quão difícil é a Premier League, já esteve aqui, sabe? Cara, isso é legal até porque faz nos crescer não somente como jogador, mas também como pessoa. Isso traz uma motivação a mais.
The Premier League turned 15 in 2007-2008, and the number of Brazilians in England was growing every year.
Okay, guys.
Lucas is a player that we knew. We knew that some top sides were trying to sign him, and then we did the movement quickly.
I had offers and interest from other clubs, from Italy, from Spain, other clubs from the Premier League. Liverpool is a unique club, and I think I made the right decision because I ended up playing for 10 years. My 2 kids born in Liverpool, they are Scousers, so it was a great time I spent there.
When you were a kid in Grêmio, in Porto Alegre, did you have like a dream league?
I think Premier League in that time, it wasn't the Premier League that we are talking now. My dream at the beginning of my career was to play maybe in Italy or in Spain. Brazilian normally would do the step in Portugal first, but I went from Brazil to England, which was a big risk for a boy at 20 years old. It was a big change for me, the culture, the language. I couldn't speak any English, which it made really difficult at the beginning.
He came in initially, people talking about him almost being a box-to-box midfield player, and you've got to remember the time when he came in.
I think our midfield was sort of Steven Gerrard, Xabi Alonso, Mascherano was about, I think Momo Sissoko as well. So we had some of the best midfield players in the world, so it was really tough for him at the start to get sort of the games and the minutes he wants, because he wasn't a guy who accepted not playing. In reality, he was more than a holding midfield player, but he was a brilliant holding midfield player. So I think it took a while for Liverpool supporters to actually understand what his role was supposed to be. But for sort of 2-3 seasons in that holding position, he was fantastic.
What were the learnings that you had that you tried to pass on to whoever was arriving?
Today, we can see a lot of more movement from Brazil to Premier League straight. But in that moment, it was really difficult because of the Premier League, the way the football was played. When I arrived at the club, maybe they expected a Brazilian player in terms of ability and scoring goals. And of course, after many Brazilian players arrived in Liverpool, I was kind of a father figure, especially for Coutinho and Roberto Firmino.
In your farewell at Anfield, I remember there were a couple of signs that I saw that said, Lucas Leiva, a true Scouser. How important was it for you to integrate yourself to the city?
I think I really lived the city. I know a lot of players lives in Manchester, close by, and I always wanted to live in Liverpool. I really felt that the club was my home.
Elsewhere, Manchester City in particular added a real Brazilian flavor to their squad. And across the city, Sir Alex Ferguson's latest rebuild of Manchester United brought the newest wave of Brazilian title winners.
19-year-old Brazilian Anderson played against United for Porto in last summer's Amsterdam tournament and arrives with glowing reports.
In Brazil, he was like, everybody was seeing him as the next star. He lacked consistency. But Sir Alex Ferguson loved him. If Alex Ferguson loves a player, he's not a bad player, right?
Yeah, Andover makes me smile. I think he's just a bundle of energy and enthusiasm and fun, really. I enjoyed playing with him. He's so talented, immensely talented. We had some really good times, you know.
Rafael! It's an absolute showstopper!
So unusual for you to have like identical twins coming from Brazil to Man United. One playing as a left back, the other one plays a right back. We could see the talent there.
They were the boys that convinced me that my career at Manchester United was over. I always remember in training watching how sharp they were to the ball, watching how quick they were in the tackle, watching how they had the ability to go and take the ball off wide players and wingers. Rafael was the one who was taking my position, and I remember him just coming in and sort of ratting and aggressive and thinking, and I went, I'm nowhere near, this is what I was. It was a joy at the end watching them come through.
More Brazilian title winners followed at Chelsea. Juliano Belletti and the center back, Alex. They were part of Carlo Ancelotti's 2009-2010 champions. All these arrivals had really changed the landscape for Brazilian players in England. They were no longer on the periphery and more integral parts of squads at successful clubs.
A new round of questioning for Jose Mourinho. This time, the subject was Brazilian midfielder Willian, apparently on the brink of a move to Tottenham until Chelsea stepped in late.
That's the danger of medicals before contracts. The best thing to do is to do the medical in secret.
So you expect it to be done soon rather than later?
We have to do a medical.
I started to watch the Premier League when I went to Ukraine. One of the teams that I started to watch was Chelsea. Everyone knows that I went to Tottenham, the training ground, and then I left the training ground to sign with Chelsea.
So it wasn't hard at all to pick Chelsea over Spurs?
No. It was easy, to be honest.
Was it connected to relationship that they were already developing with Brazilians?
Yeah, I think also because of the coach, Felipão. Belletti was playing there. Alex, when you have Brazilian players in the team, so it becomes more easy, to adapt. Ramirez, Oscar, David Luiz. So they treat me so well, not only them, but the whole club, the whole team.
Watching World Cups, there was always this magic about Brazil. Big impact from these players for Chelsea. David Luiz played as a fantastic centre-back for us. I'll never forget even his desire to play in the Champions League final when he had this hamstring injury a couple of weeks before. Strong man, strong player. You wouldn't want to get into too much of a battle with him. But he had something a bit special for a centre-back. I think Willian is an underrated player in the Premier League. Him and Nicholas Anelka, in my opinion, are one of the best at stopping and starting and shooting. And that was a real talent. And then Ramirez, huge for us in their important run towards winning the Champions League and a double that year. So they all had different things, great character around themselves off the pitch. Probably more laid back than us British. You know, they come in and have this different way of handling stuff, which I learnt from them working with them. It was great to have this sort of diversity of players coming from all over, and the best players.
Lashed back in by Willian!
How did you bring some Brazilian into the Premier League?
My style is skills, to accelerate with the ball, 1v1 situations. Some magic is also, people like to watch this kind of, situations. I think that's why I stay so long in the Premier League.
Leaving it for Willian, oh brilliant!
Oh, brilliant goal! Willian finds the top corner! And you became the Brazilian with the most appearances in the Premier League. How proud are you of that?
My family, my daughters, they love London. They growing up in London. They love everything about England, about London. I'm happy of course, because of that. I think I have to be proud.
Brazilian influence in England was continuing to grow, especially at Manchester City. Pep Guardiola's first title-winning side had 4 in, and one went on to be the first Brazilian to lift the Premier League trophy as captain.
For me, it was something really special. Leading those guys, for me, was a pleasure. The promise they put on the game, on the pitch, every time was something beautiful to watch.
It helped me a lot. I don't forget, when I arrived here, I was new. I need help. I need help for the staff, but especially need help for the players. Like, I've been here for a while. In the bad moments, they join together to do it. You cannot achieve what we achieve without incredible, huge personalities. No skills, characters.
How do you see the development of the relationship Brazilians have with the Premier League throughout the years? Because you were here for so long.
When I got to Europe, in Ukraine, normally we watch other leagues, especially the Premier League, especially the Italian league, the Spanish league. And as a young player, you're always thinking, I'll be able to play in that league one day. And obviously, Premier League become much better than Spanish league and Serie A, Italian league. And obviously the wish comes, I come to Manchester and then I stay for 30 days in the hotel. And Fabio and Rafael, they helped me a lot because as a Brazilian, you love to eat some beans, black beans. They invite me most of the time to join them for dinner, for barbecues. This is one of the case, make my adaptation really easy. We had a small community of Brazilian players and, the families, because we miss home,
Maybe you did this to other players as well as they did this to you.
When I first moved, someone take care of me. When they move it, I start to take care of other players. Gabi comes, and then Ederson comes, Danilo comes, and then, I try to receive them the best way possible to settle as soon as possible.
Brazilian players were now household names in England. So how much have they laid the path for the current generation?
João Pedro hat-trick, Chelsea's points.
I think because Premier League is the more difficult and the best league in the world. I think everyone wants to be here. I think now a lot of Brazilian players want to come here and have a lot of Brazilian players now.
Tive essa oportunidade, era meu sonho jogar Premier League e eu pude realizar e vim para cá e agora eu tô vivendo esse sonho.
What a save! An incredible stop from Perry.
For me, the Premier League is the best league in the world. Knowing that a lot of Brazilians came here and had success is a big thing for me. Seeing especially Alisson and Ederson that were really successful here. They told me about the speed of the game, the quality of the players, the challenges you face.
Oh, what a start! Joelinton!
I think it's the strongest league in the world.
Every game here is difficult. If you are not your best, you're gonna have a difficult day. So I think the best players want to play with the best.
Last season, the Premier League was the most watched European league in Brazil, but that hasn't always been the case. Quais eram suas referências da Premier League?
Nem transmitia. Aqui passava muito futebol italiano e o espanhol. O Brian me mandava cassete, né, na época. E eu olhava os jogos assim e falava, nossa, eu vou ficar com dor no pescoço, né? De olhar a bola passando por cima. Mas quando eu olho o vídeo e aí depois me transfiro e começo a jogar, totalmente diferente.
Did you feel throughout the years that you were here, the perceptions that people had from the Premier League were changing in Brazil?
Totally. We didn't watch English leagues in Brazil, growing up there. I came here, I think they start to show the Premier League, and then instead of we say English League, we start to say Premier League. Once they have an opportunity, they start to enjoy, and the fans adopt it as one of the main competitions for them to watch.
You never wondered what it would be like to play another big European league?
I had the opportunity to play for Barcelona in 2018. Chelsea, they didn't accept the offer. Also myself, I didn't force Chelsea to accept the offer because I was happy at Chelsea. The Premier League, it changed a little bit in terms of visibility. Before it was only Madrid, Barça, and now it's a little bit of maybe 50-50, I don't know.
Eu acredito que a Premier é a mais completa de todas as ligas. Eu já joguei na italiana, né? Tive um pouco ali na portuguesa também com Porto, a liga francesa, enfim. Todas essas ligas parece que se juntarem todas elas dá a Premier League no final.
I'm from a generation that was more thinking about Spain and Italy. All the Brazilian football players from my generation, they dreamt about playing for Barcelona, playing for Real Madrid. Now I think things are changing a little bit.
Você é de uma geração que falava-se muito, né, de uma forma geral, de jogar Real Madrid e Barcelona. Onde que entrava a Premier League?
Eu diria que nos últimos, assim, acho que nos últimos 10 anos, assim, foi a hora que deu o boom, né? E o dinheiro aqui contrata jogadores, equipes que vão brigar para não cair estão contratando de 50, 70 milhões, estão contratando jogadores. O Burnley joga o Walker joga no Burnley. Assim, um jogador que, cara, tem títulos na Premier, tem a sua história no futebol e joga no Burnley. E com todo respeito ao Burnley, mas é um cara que é um cara gigante. Paquetá estava no West Ham, que é um clube que tá brigando para não. Acho que esse é o grande mérito dessa liga.
We know in Brazil we love Premier League. Everyone watch. No matter the game, if this Premier League is playing, you stop and you watch.
Chasing Manchester City, Jurgen Klopp also relied on Brazilian players to help drive his Liverpool side. He'd already sold Felipe Coutinho to Barcelona for a British record of £146 million. But alongside Mohamed Salah and Sadio Mane was
Roberto Firmino, the Bobby Dazzler.
It almost felt like people weren't quite sure what to do with him. What position was he supposed to play? He played out wide, he played as a number 10. He certainly didn't play as a central striker alone. And that's the role he played under Jurgen Klopp. And when you look at him physically, doesn't have a lot of pace, you think, how can he play that role? But he played that role to perfection.
Every person you speak to about Bobby Firmino who's played with him, probably the rest of the footballing world probably don't realise how good he actually is with the ball, without the ball, the work he used to do, the positions he took up, the blindside pressing and putting people under pressure and winning it back. His ability on the ball, outrageous. The tricks he used to do, but not for the sake of it, not to be flash, it'd be to do a genuine assist for someone or get away from a man, could hold it up, score goals, both feet. Ability, strength, never stopped running, never seemed to get injured ever, never really missed a game, never stopped smiling.
Although we have certain roles in midfield, holding midfield position, we say the Makelele role. And when you talk about the false nine role, the way Firmino played it, certainly in the Premier League. I think for me that's the Firmino role. And I just don't know if Liverpool could have had the success with Salah or Mane without Firmino.
After falling just short in 2018, Liverpool targeted more Brazilians in the market that summer.
Liverpool have announced the signing of Fabinho from Monaco. The Brazilian midfielder, we're told, will cost £43.7 million.
Fabi, the six brought everything together, marshalling the midfield. The full-backs, how attacking they were, someone had to fill in for those guys, and he was normally that guy, and getting us playing, winning those loose second balls and getting us on the attack again.
Next came a crucial addition in goal.
Liverpool have completed a deal to sign Roma goalkeeper Alisson for a fee of £67 million, making him the world's most expensive goalkeeper.
World record fees. It's not Alisson's price, it's not what we wanted to pay or whatever, it's only that the market makes it. So we are ambitious, that was clear from the first second since I'm in.
Did you speak to any of the Brazilians about being a Brazilian in the Premier League?
Yeah, I did. I spoke to Ederson, I spoke to Bobby more, and he told me everything that I needed to know about the club, about the Premier League. I think the Brazilian methodology can bring good things to all the leagues. We are known for being good technically, to have good movements, not only between the posts, but for covering bigger spaces like our box, our own box. We are goalkeepers that play under pressure since we are young. If you play for a big club, and then you start playing in the first team, you're gonna play at Maracanã against Flamengo, huge pressure, full stadium, you're gonna play Libertadores. So you are a lot under pressure, and Brazilian goalkeepers can add a lot for all leagues.
For me, he was the best goalkeeper in the Premier League, 4 or 5 seasons. When we think of typical Brazilians, we always say, flair players, but I just think there's been a succession of great Brazilian goalkeepers going back a really long time. They seem to produce great keepers. I think him, Virgil van Dijk and Mo Salah, they're the 3 pillars really. When I think of Jurgen Klopp's team, lots of other great players around that they've changed the face of Liverpool Football Club over the last 10 years.
Ali, unbelievable. Nothing fazed him. Made a mistake, did not care. Hated making acrobatic saves. Wanted to do the job. Didn't want anything flash. Made difficult things look really easy. Really good with his feet. Such a calming influence. One-on-one, the best goalkeeper I've ever seen by a margin. He was a massive part of the dressing room.
For me, the most important Premier League players that came from Brazil were Alisson and Ederson. They were a type of goalkeeper that didn't exist in Brazil and didn't exist in England. With their feet, they were so good.
Firmino could play in a certain way in the questions of in the process build-up that many teams, maybe now a little less with a lot of markings, but most of the teams try to do it, and incredible figure.
The team wasn't ready to play in the way Pep wanted. When Ederson comes, his style of play during the season showed the reason City bought him. He becomes one of the main pieces of the whole structure, Every time you're gonna play against Manchester City, you have to bark 11 players, 10 plus the goalkeeper.
I think we contributed a lot in a way that people could see that, okay, we can have a goalkeeper who play better with the feet. I was lucky to come to a team that gave me the freedom, to a manager that gave me the freedom to do what was necessary on the pitch, and sometimes even taking some more risk than normal.
So here we are in 2026. The Premier League has featured over 30 Brazilians in the last 4 seasons, an incredible journey since the division's early days. And everywhere you look, there are different stories. Arsenal's revival under Mikel Arteta has featured not 1, not 2, but 3 Gabriels.
Every day we are together, they come in the same country. We are close in Brazil, they both are from São Paulo. We talk about the same things. We are really happy to be together here. Really proud of myself to represent Brazil and of course to represent my family, to be in this place, yeah.
Martinelli! Oh, what a finish!
Playing in the Premier League is just a dream for me. It's always nice to have someone from your country, someone that's gonna speak your first language and is gonna know what's going on in the country. We play cards every single day, we're always joking around. It's normal, you have a closer relationship with the ones that is from your country.
crucial. The three of them in very different ways. Martinelli, because he was here from the beginning. He was one of the guys that raised the standards, the energy, the demands. As a role model, exceptional constantly. Big Gabi, because he came here, he transforms our backline. I think he gave the team a different kind of aggression and presence. And Gabriel Jesus, because he brought joy and hope to this club when it was very much needed.
Newcastle's recent success has had a particularly Brazilian feel to it. Their cup-winning captain is a popular figure on Tyneside, as is his partner in midfield.
Joey, what a guy. He became a brother for me. I still remember when I couldn't say any word in English, he was translating everything for me. I remember in my first week here, we go out for dinner twice in a week. Put the family together to understand each other, and now we can't stop to be together.
I knew him from Brazil. I didn't have contact with him.
I text Joey in the first day when the club contacted me and my agent. He never answered me.
I didn't see him, so I didn't answer him. A few days later, he signed for the club, and then I went to post welcome, and then I saw his message, so I said, so I'm sorry I didn't see.
Why do you think the fans took you on so quickly?
We never hide ourselves. We always try to represent the Georges. We play every game like it's the last one in our life. And now, when we go to the stadium, we see a lot of Brazilian flags. That made me feel very happy, and Joe as well. That was like, wow, I can't let them down, and give us too many power, energy, and excitement to be represented by our culture in this club. I hope many Brazilians can come in the future.
Of course, I come to the club with a mindset to be successful and come as a striker, number 9, and today be a midfield is I never thought, and never thought to play so many games and be here for so many times.
One of the season's big success stories has been Igor Thiago's emergence at Brentford. He's managed the most goals in a season by any Brazilian in the Premier League, and he's had some journey to get to this stage.
Trabalhei na feira, como freteiro, trabalhei como panfleteiro, servente de pedreiro, com meu tio. Trabalhei em lava-jato, trabalhei capinando lote. Foram momentos assim que me ajudaram bastante para mim poder ter a mentalidade que eu tenho hoje. Assim. Eu lembro que quando meu agente ele comentou comigo que o Brentford estava interessado em mim, foi baque assim para mim. Meu Deus, tá acontecendo, tipo, Premier League.
O que você sabia do Brentford?
Eu vou ser sincero, eu não sabia nada. Eu não sabia nada, assim, mas até aquele momento eu não sabia nada. Mas depois daquele momento eu comecei a acompanhar, né, tudo do Brentford, comecei a acompanhar todos os jogos. Acho que o Brentford foi uma escolha perfeita para mim.
Igor Thiago is a great example of Brazilians playing up and down the division. Just look at the percentage of players now who featured for different Premier League clubs.
Olha, se eu te falar, eu nem conheci o Watford. É falar a verdade, eu conheci, tipo, quando chegou a proposta, eu fui pesquisar, né, no Google para ver quem que tinha, os jogadores e tal. Daí apareceu logo aquele vídeo lá do Troy Deeney, né, fazendo aquele gol histórico. E aí tinha o Gomes também, vim pra cá e graças a Deus deu tudo certo, graças ao Marco Silva também, né, que eu fiz um bom trabalho com ele no Watford. Aí depois ele foi pro Everton, me levou pra lá também.
João Pedro! That's the magic he is capable of.
I've been in Championship. I had to learn, grow up there. I had to adapt to develop my game. In Brazil, we play more. The Championship is more like physical, more battle. So I had to adapt, show my quality to be able to come back to the Premier League again.
Meanwhile, Nottingham Forest this season have the most Brazilians to represent them in one campaign. There's been 6 at the City Ground.
Um clube que eu não conhecia, mas hoje conhecendo, vivendo, representando, usando o seu caminho. É um clube que amarei para sempre.
Eu escolhi por ser um clube de Premier League, um clube que vinha muito bem. Acho que iria me ajudar bastante na minha adaptação, de ter a oportunidade como eu estou tendo, então...
Premier League clubs are signing younger Brazilians year on year, and this season is no different as the next batch of wonderkids arrive in England.
Chelsea have agreed an initial £29.1 million deal to sign Brazilian teenager Estevão.
Conta um pouquinho pra gente como foi esse processo de vinda pro Chelsea e também eu sei que você chegou a conversar com o Thiago Silva também, né, sobre o Chelsea.
Daí ele veio, falou comigo, falou que eu ia gostar bastante do clube, que o clube tem uma estrutura incrível e com certeza posso estar vendo isso hoje, que o clube tem tudo que eu preciso. Então, o começo é sempre meio difícil, né, porque são estilos de jogo diferentes, com climas e força diferentes. E a motivação deles fez com que eu pudesse me soltar mais rápido, fizesse que eu me sentisse em casa, confortável para mim fazer meus dribles, ter confiança, fazer jogadas. Então acho que essa confiança foi uma das coisas principais que me ajudaram.
A big signing for Bournemouth. Teenager Rayan will join the club from Vasco da Gama for £24.7 million.
Acho que é o sonho de qualquer jogador que sai da comunidade do Rio de Janeiro. Eu vim de um lugar que não tem muito dinheiro, né? Chegar aqui na Premier League, né, para qualquer um, acho que precisa de muito trabalho, perseverança. Então acho que foi um momento de realização de um sonho para mim e para minha família. Então. O clube me procurou, então fui pesquisar, conhecia muito, fui saber depois que eles me procuraram, então depois que eu vi a cidade, vi a praia, então fiquei muito feliz por isso.
Brazil and Manchester United go hand in hand these days. In fact, 4 of the top 5 fees paid in the Premier League for Brazilian players have come from Old Trafford. You had Switzerland, Germany, Spain, and you came to England. How do you think that shaped you?
All the countries in the past teach me a lot of things, then I can adapt fast in the different countries, you know. Even the languages, everything like that, the customs, everything like something then build me, I think, not only by the player, but by the persons, you know. I always want to be here. And then, of course, I understand it's one of the biggest clubs in the world. National team is the same. Brazil national team is always the pressure there. I always try to feel the pressure like a privilege.
Cassie, experience, been there, done it, seen it, won most things. Mateus, a little bit different, really, you know, creative moments, has a little bit of magic and really good characters, really two good personalities and obviously both really talented.
E por fim, o que você diria para brasileiro que de repente está chegando na Premier League?
Luta todos os jogos, porque o que você vai ter aqui você não vai ter em nenhuma liga. Desfruta de todas as vitórias, porque aqui ganhar jogos é muito difícil, é importante, é difícil.
So life in the Premier League has changed for Brazilians since those early days. But there's no question, Brazil has also changed the Premier League.
Casemiro!
That's it.
That's it?
William's goal!
Tchau, fica com Deus, beijão, tchau, tchau.
Thank you.
Caralho, Ex.
Coutinho, the Brazilian who tries his luck and scores a quite sensational goal. Absolute classic strike.
Obrigada, viu?
Muito obrigado.
Juninho, brilliant skill by Juninho. A bit of Brazilian magic. What a sensational hit from Mateus Cunha. David Luiz. Firmino. Brazilian magic.
Ciao, ciao.